So welcome everybody to the Christian connection here that we have going on, the Christian content connection. I have my great friend, Mr. Andre Powell, with me on today. We're going to be diving into some of the content that he develops, some of the strategies that he uses, and then some of the things he has coming up. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to start with, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, so I am Andre Powell, also known as That Guy Amped. You can find me all over social media, and you can't miss me. It's all That Guy Amped. And basically, I'm a motivational speaker and coach. My goal is ultimately to share with people tips and tricks to really get in there and live the dream that God has made them for. That's ultimately what I'm about, and that's what I stand for. So faith-based, I talk God first in everything and loving on people. And that's me in a nutshell. Yeah.
And so I know you're a great motivator, and you're always putting out content. You have a community too. So I guess I'll start off with saying, what keeps you motivated?
That's a great question. God is my biggest motivator, right? The love of God, I think, is ultimately why, right?
Right.
Because God loves me, because God has prepared me for this, he's given me a love for people and wanting to see people succeed. And so that love of God kind of perpetuates in, hey, motivate others to live like I intended for them to live. And so that's kind of the cornerstone of it all, right? God called us. Christ came into the world not to condemn the world, but the world through him might have abundant life, right? Might live abundant life. And so that's really the focus. Like always living an amped life is always living a life above the norm of where God has intended us to live. And your mind is focused there in such a way that you go to God first, you love on his people, and you keep moving forward.
So can you speak a little bit more to that? Because as you know me, my big thing is everywhere I post something is change your mind, change your life. However, a lot of people seem to struggle with that concept or with that realization that we can simply, especially if we're seeking first the kingdom of God and pursuing God, that we can have a change in our lives just simply by changing the way we think and by trusting in the Lord. So can you speak more to that specific subject?
For me, it's one, starting the relationship, because that is honestly the best way for it to work, right? We limit ourselves to what we can see, what we initially think. But when we start building relationship with God, right? First, salvation. We get saved because we desire to get closer to God. And once we get closer to God, we start seeking after him, right? Because you can't really seek after God in his kingdom, and his righteousness until you start a relationship with him. Like you see your need to have that relationship. And so when you start that relationship, there is that hunger that God puts in you. Well, God, I got to get more. I got to learn more. I got to get closer. I got to get deeper in you. And as you get that hunger, God starts to reveal you and the importance of you to his plan. And it's one of those things that it opened my mind. Like that was probably one of the first cornerstones of the ministry of amped, living an amped life, was the importance of you from God's standpoint and breaking down scriptures that people could understand. Look, before you were formed, I knew you. Like bringing people's minds to understanding, wait, I was created, but I was known before I was even walking this earth. I was known. There was an expected end for me before I even started walking, before I even knew I had a purpose. There was something already established for me. And getting people to get into that mindset, getting people hungry about seeing what God has for them, starts with salvation. And so as they build that relationship, as they build and want to seek after God, he builds the dream. He builds the purpose that he's already established in us. That good work that he said he'll continue until Christ comes, he's already established it in us. So it's like, okay, well, Lord, how do I now get to that? How do I get to that understanding? And so that's part of the reason why living that AMP life means, hey, you may see all the things that are going on that are wrong around you. You may have made your mistakes, you may have made your mess ups, but God has called us to a higher level. He has called us to a higher standard. And it says, be holy, for I am holy. But if you only think that you're capable of only messing up, that that's where you're supposed to be, that your expected end isn't as great as where God, like it challenges you to, okay, well, let me believe God. And I'm going to throw this last piece in here. One song that has hit me to my very core, and I didn't even know the song, but my family was always singing it. It's called Man of Your Word, Maverick City Music. The very first time I heard that song, I was laying in bed playing a game, and my wife started playing it, and she was singing along, and I was like, something about it just stirred in me, and I was like, Lord, what is that?
Right.
What is like, what about this song? And I tell you, like 2 weeks straight, that bad boy was on repeat. There was no other song played. That song was on repeat. But it got to me, it reminded me that if God has said it, then we can believe it, because he never fails. And he won't start with us, right? Regardless of what's going on in our life, he won't start failing because of us. No, God can't fail. And so it reiterated a lot of the things that I try to bring to the people, that encouragement. God said it. God said, I'm going to give you perfect peace. Just keep your mind stayed on me. Right. He said it, so we've got to believe it, right? If it's in his word, he said it, and we can believe it. And so that's right now one of the big driving forces right now to sharing the gospel even that much more, and just letting people know that they are loved.
That's awesome, man. And I want to ask, like, even to that, because I'll say one of my biggest drawbacks I will say is because building a business with having the heart of God, and I will say, and this is kind of a thrown left question, but I will say certain communities have a misunderstanding of the word of God and building wealth in the sense of like owning your own business. There's like a discourse there. And so even for me, it was a struggle for me selling things and providing services and providing products, because I'm like, I'm doing this for the Lord. Why am I making money in the name of the Lord? But then there's people like Solomon and other people who, were used of the Lord. Even, I believe like Luke's, like a couple of the apostles that follow him were in professions and used God through their professions. While yes, they were wealthy, God talks about being wealthy, but then God talks about establishing and building business as well. And as long as we keep God at the center, that is what's most important. But can you kind of encourage those who are in that kind of place like I was? I was like, it's hard for me to build my business because I want to give everything away for free. I want to give, I just want to be Christ all the way through. What can you speak to that community?
So you were speaking to the choir, right? Because everybody that has the heart and the true desire to minister to people, to really share with people God's word and what God's gifted us with, their focus isn't so much on the money. But I am also reminded of those who were put in charge of the church, the tabernacle, back in the Old Testament. Their job all day, every day, was taking care of the tabernacle, making sure everything was taken care of. The priest inheritance was the church. They didn't have any, they didn't have anything else. Yeah, they had families and so forth, but their families were tied to the church. But when people brought the sacrifices, when people brought the shewbread that was made every day, all of these pieces that were in the temple were made so, hey, the priests are taken care of. While they don't have a land inheritance, they are blessed and taken care of. They're well fed and not having to worry about anything. the offerings that were brought in, they benefited from any and everything that was done in there. And so they got, left, they came left. It was like, okay, money, 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 money. No, 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 that wasn't the premise of it. It was like bringing the tithes and offering into the storehouse as God tells us to do. That was so that the priest didn't have to worry about the church. And God's always going to take care of his church. And so when it comes to business, the church still has its business foundations now, because we deal more so in monetary versus trade, right? And so if the church has its business, why wouldn't God establish other things that bless others to reap a reward, so to speak, or reap a monetary value, right? And sometimes that's probably the most difficult thing for someone who loves what they're doing, is doing it for God, and wants other people to benefit, putting a number value on it. For the course that I'm currently working on, I had to go to 10 of my friends that have already either built a course, have taken the course that I'm giving, have done research already on things that are applicable to the course that I'm building. And it's like, well, how much do I tell them? Because in my mind, I know what it's worth, and I will put this value on it. But I'm like, well, wait, you're still kind of new to it. While I can say, oh, I have beta tests that have worked for a number of people. I have had, testimonials from people who have been in the business. It's like, well, you know what time you put into it. If you were working for someone else, how much would they pay you to do that?
Exactly.
And so we look, if you're working a job all day, every day for somebody else, there is a value that they've associated with it. So if you're working for yourself and you're the boss, how much is your time now worth?
Wow.
And so that's, I know I make I'm worth a 6-figure plus more in what I do and what I'm capable of. But I also have to say, hey, no, you value me at this. If I'm going to work for somebody else, my value is up at this level, not, oh, no, I can't do this. And, God had to beat me up a little bit about that, because I've been burned a number of times as well, because I am who I am, right? I don't mind. I've built whole campaigns for companies, and it's like, okay, you said you were going to take care of this, and a year later we're still arguing. I'm like, look, God's going to take care of it, and then they go under, and I'm like, oh, well, Lord, I can't say anything to them now. They don't have a business to stand on. So that's one of those things where it's like, God will take care, and God is also fair and just. And so remembering that, even when it comes to, hey, I may not know, but let me do my research. Put a value to it, and know what you're worth. And God will tell you, like, that's way too much. Like, God knows what it's worth.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I think that was one thing, me being a faith speaker that I am, trying to get people to understand that there's power in what we say. Like you said, and I saw it on you when you said, I'm a 6-figure plus person of value. And a lot of people don't see themselves as that. I even had a conversation at my job today where we were kind of going over our future plans concerning like finance. It was just a random conversation, and people were talking about, I'm going to retire in X amount of years, or I want to retire early, 50. And like me and like only like 2 other people were kind of like, nah, the goal is like 35, 40. Like, let's not limit ourselves to what God can do. Like nothing against like your plan, but like we were kind of like, why limit yourself? Like that's a good plan if you plan on doing that. But if your ambitions are different, because people have different ambitions, but if your ambitions are different, don't limit yourself. I think some people feel like this is the best that they can do versus like, what can I do? So I ended up encouraging like my whole team. I was like, look, don't limit yourself to this. Like you guys could have potential to do whatever and excel in whatever area. I'm like, if I'm doing it, you can do it too.
Right. Right.
And that's the big thing, is that people need to get in that mindset. Like, hey, look, I'm about to be a 6-figure, 7-figure person of value who's giving away stuff, from the heart. Like, I'm valued at this because this is what people value me at. However, I'm giving everything back to God. I'm giving all my services back to you, which is why I'm steadily increasing in wealth. But you did mention something good that you did, which was you kind of mentioned a program that you're working on. I had a couple that in the works myself, but I'm always encouraged seeing other individuals put together tutorials, put together projects, put together things. And you said it's been a work in progress. So can you kind of go into what you're developing, what people will get out of this, and how can they get more information on this?
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. So I have been literally working for about the last 2 years on a 30-day engagement challenge. I call it a challenge because it is something that it causes you to think outside of the box. It's one of those where it allows you ultimately to change your mindset while you're doing it. The goal is to get people to truly engage and use social media the way it was intended to be used. There are so many things out there on social media where people call it engagement, where they just flood different people's mailboxes to get them to, oh yeah, I need you to buy this. No, or you should go check out my friend such and such, and they'll pay a company to use spam account after spam account after spam account to get their name out there. But then the true engagement isn't actually happening. And so the course that I'm working on is a 30-day course. And so over the entirety of the course, there will be prompts that are given daily. There will be questions like the after prompt questions that will happen the next day, to kind of get people thinking about why they did something versus something else. And a lot of the prompts are kind of, how do you interpret this, right? Some of them are very simple, like follow 20 people of your choosing. And then from that, make sure you just reach out to them, follow them, comment on one or two of their posts, and leave it there just to see what you're getting. And the questions that follow up with it the next day is, why'd you choose those people? Why did you choose this person versus this person? What was your hope in choosing this type of person? And how do they fit into the tribe that you're trying to get to or you're trying to build? And so sometimes people don't think about that. They see, oh, well, I know this person has a verified check. Let me follow them. Oh, let me follow them. Let me just tag them. And the likelihood of somebody verified coming back to see, oh, you're not verified, and actually commenting, depending on who they are, they may never see it, right? But for those people that are still trying to grow, that is like, oh, you got to build your tribe somewhere. And that's one of the big principles of social media. It's supposed to be social. You're supposed to have fun with it. You're supposed to get to know people and really be social with it, and I also have to challenge the people to be their real selves, right? Because let's be honest, there are a lot of social media accounts out there that put up a facade. And when you see the person's actual, you're like, wait, these two don't match up. Blah, your brand's going, how can we trust you? If you're putting forth the same thing all day, what you're talking, what you're sharing, what you're showing people, if that is the same you consistently, it becomes an integrity thing. How are you when the cameras are off? If you are the same way when the cameras are on, wow, people know what to expect all day, every day, and they will trust your brand.
Wow. That's huge, man. That's huge, man. I want you to give all the goodies away, but man, that was like And I'm one of the ones who did one of the first beta tests like earlier this year. I know you did a couple. I was one of the first trial ones, and I would say it's definitely made a difference in my content to where I've met a couple of other people. I'm actually in one of the business men groups with you now too. So where we connect with fellowship and actually engaging in that more has gotten those guys involved more. I've noticed because it used to just be one or two people. Now everyone's slowly starting to like chat more in that group.
Right.
And I will say, even as a testament to that, I did join like a Christian content creator like group on Facebook. I keep shouting them out because they really kind of like changed, took some of these strategies with that group, and it really kind of changed like everything. Because one, like you said, follow some people, comment on your stuff, and see what they comment back. People been commenting back that I've been commenting on their stuff. They've been subscribing to me. I've been subscribing to them. The ones I really like, I've been sharing their stuff. A lot of people been liking my stuff. I've been sharing it. And I will say, just in the past 2 months, because I went from, like, y'all don't know, this thing was birthed out of like this type of program that Andre's doing. I went from giving up and not really caring about building my social media presence to now having a platform like this in 2 months. In 2 months, I don't have a lot of subscribers, but my subscribers on YouTube alone have like quadrupled. Like it went from like 18, a hopeless 18 to like now I'm at 100. And
awesome.
In 2 months,
Awesome.
and just from like just making effort to do stuff, and it's growing like rapidly. I won't even get to the Instagram and all that other stuff where it's growing, but doing these simple things that Andre is teaching will definitely impact you, change your approach, change your mindset, because then you realize you know what value am I bringing. Like, if am I just posting this trend? Am I just doing this dance because it's popular?
Right.
Or am I consistent? Like, am I, because, and I will caveat this, like if people that be on Reels and Instagrams, you have the people that are strong with their content, you go to their page, it's going to be the same comedy. It's going to be the same focal point. It's going to be the same target audience. But then you have people that's like, they're blowing up, but all they do is the latest trend, and they're just trendy. And so when the trends run out, who's going to be left? Those that are trendsetters. I'll end with this for Andre. You did mention what the program entails. What's the game plan? What's next for people, and what can people get from you now? Like, what are you offering right now to help people, and then moving forward, how can they get your information?
Gotcha. So 2 ways that they can reach out to me. The big one is just reaching out to me directly via email at theamped1@gmail.com. That's probably the easiest one right now. They also, if you're on Instagram, just click that email button. You can shoot me a quick email. I am doing some free sessions, some free 15-minute coaching sessions, just to feel if I can help, right? My big focus, my big target are young professionals that want to do something, that are dying to get out of the rat race and want to build something that God has intended for them to build, to do the things that they love and learn how to monetize them. And so that course that I was speaking about is going to be launched on February 6th. And if you want to be involved with that, the cost is going to be $275 for that 30 days. That's also going to include 4 group calls as we prep for the weeks to follow that. And then there'll also be an opportunity to get on mailing list, to set up appointments for one-on-one coaching if they desire that. I am doing a discounted rate for my coaching outside of the just, hey, can I help you ones, the consultations? I'm doing $125 for a 30-minute coaching session to really kind of get into people's vision and get into what they're trying to do, because it starts with the vision. It starts with the vision. If you don't have one, there's nowhere for you to build. The Bible tells us, where there is no vision, the people perish. And that's the same for you. That's the same for each and every one of us. If there was no vision, people around us would perish. And also, another key to the vision, make sure you write it down and make it plain. Because when you make it plain and you write it down, other people can grab a hold of it and keep running with you. So you're not the only person running out there and doing that. And then, of course, check out all social media platforms, That Guy Amped. We can be found and contacted there. Shoot comments, whatever y'all need to do. I'm there. Yeah.
All right. That's awesome, man. That's a bet. All right. So I'm gonna get his information. If you're watching this video right now, you're gonna check his links below. They're gonna be the first thing when you hit that drop down there, but make sure you hit that notification button and the bell for when you get more of this, because this is just another one of the many people I'm bringing on here for boosting content, your content. If you're a content creator and you want to join in and share what you're doing, please reach out to me. And Andre said it himself, he has a free session that he's doing right now. I wanted to repeat that. He's doing a small free session right now, 15-minute session that can change your life. Your life can change with a free 15-minute consultation. So take advantage of that right now. And I'm also going to throw a special treat. I didn't tell him this, but if you watch this video and you go over to his page and say, hey, I'm here for my free 15 minutes and Maurice sent me, I'm going to throw in one of my free ebooks. So that way, because we're brothers in Christ and we fellowship when we collaborate. And so I want to help him help you. So if you reach out to him and say, hey, Maurice sent me, you're going to get that free ebook and you're going to get, first in line slot for his new program dropping in February and that free 15-minute session. So join in with us. You don't want to miss out on this. Andre, any last words?
So as I do always, know that I love you. God loves you even more. And until next time, be inspired, be edified, be encouraged. Put God first in all that you do. Love unconditionally. Do what you love and always live and have life. Let's get it.
It's gonna be alright.